Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Now to the Lord sing praises, all you within this place, and with true love and brotherhood each other now embrace. This holy night of Christmas, all others doth deface. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
Here's another banner representing a dedicated group of Americans serving in Vietnam, the Navy Chaplains. I'm James W. Kelley, Chief of Chaplains. Christmas was not lost in Vietnam last year. I know. I was there. I saw the true spirit of Christmas being demonstrated in the hearts, lives, and actions of our men. Somehow, the age-old Christmas miracle bridged the span between heart and home. I can further report that our men who carry the main burden of the war in Vietnam do not believe that God is dead. On the contrary, they believe strongly and are proving it every day to their own satisfaction that God is vibrantly alive and present in their lives. I would like to share with you some of the impressions I received during a visit to the many ships and naval installations in South Vietnam at Christmas time last year. On an aircraft carrier in the Tonkin Gulf, I watched Navy pilots being launched into the uncertainties of an airstrike. I know they found solace in that convincing statement of God's guiding hand, which has given comfort to men through the ages. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies, is another biblical statement full of promise. Ashore the men come, clad in battle gear, taking a few precious moments in which to turn their thoughts Godward. Many times during my Christmas visit, I found sailors joyously answering that Psalm of David. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a foreign land?
Christ was born to save, Christ was born to save.
I was happy to see the Jewish high holy days solemnly observed by chaplains and servicemen of the Jewish faith. The children of South Vietnam, many thousands of them orphaned, manage as children will to find some happiness in an otherwise grim daily existence. Christ's admonition to his disciples is amply fulfilled by our men. Suffer the little children to come unto me, and forbid them not. It was very moving for me to see the genuine care and sympathy expressed by our people for those Vietnamese who were sick, hurt, or wounded. Sailors and Marines devote much of their free time and their own money to the needs of these children, providing love and finding an inner satisfaction in loving their neighbor as themselves. In a ministry of care, compassion and generosity have no religious or racial bounds. Caring can mean a box of desperately needed medicines or school supplies, a reassuring word to a man far from home, or a church service with its gift of familiar ceremony and message of divine protection. As chaplains, we recognize this as a rugged ministry, but we accept it as a challenge and one of immense satisfaction. Like a helmeted crusader of old, this chaplain prepares to mount his flying steed. Our helicopter-born Navy chaplains serve as 20th century circuit riders and carry to the men wherever they are the ministry of the faith they represent. A basis of their ministry is to bring God to men and men to God. Known affected, battle-scarred, give thanks for deliverance in the words of a well-loved song. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him will I trust. One of the most potent morale builders for our men in Vietnam, and one that should never be underestimated, is mail from home. I saw many a day brightened and many a spirit uplifted when receiving a package or letter from home. Houses of worship have dominated the landscape in American communities from early times. Americans carry this church-building characteristic with them into the armed forces, and nowhere is it more in evidence than in Vietnam. I discovered the house of worship many times to be nothing more than a few symbols of faith hastily placed on an altar of sandbags or on the hood of a Jeep. Whatever form it assumes, a place of worship becomes holy ground for those men who have placed their trust in the Most High. The clergy of many churches work together in Vietnam. It is truly a cooperative ministry. The selfless humanitarianism of chaplains and of the rank and file military is evidenced every day in countless deeds of compassion. Perhaps This is the heart of the Christmas message. The tinsel and ornaments are surface manifestations bringing to mind home and loved ones. The real celebration of Christmas takes place in the heart. No, indeed, Christmas was not lost in Vietnam, will never be lost anywhere, as long as there are men who reach out with courage and sacrifice to uplift their fellow man and who humbly acknowledge a power higher than themselves. Wherever you may be at this time of year, I extend to you my warmest greetings for a most blessed Christmas. Out of the heartache and sorrow of the conflict in Vietnam will come hope and security for an oppressed people. Please remember, my friends, that the Christmas bell still tolls, and its tolling brings the promise and hope of peace on earth, goodwill to men.